The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Ready?
103, we are. We're broadcasting to the public, folks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. The State Treasurer Falwell calling the North Carolina Capital Facilities Finance Agency to order on November 12th at 1 p.m. Please call the roll to determine a quorum.
Okay, I'm Cindy Aiken, Assistant General Counsel. We'll start with Auditor Holmes.
She's saying yes.
You're muted on one end or the other, but we could see you, so she's virtual.
Thumbs up. Thank you.
Ms. Dalva Wilson Arnold. I saw her a minute ago. Is the audio working? Oh,
Yes, it is.
okay, very good. Also virtual, thank you, Mr. Frank Beam. All right, Marcus Bowen.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen is participating virtually. Mr. Benny Bowers.
Present.
I see him virtually, and welcome. Mr. Joseph McLaughlin.
Present.
He's here in the room, and Treasurer Falwell.
Here.
And is Mr. Beam here? Okay, we'll mark him absent. All right, we don't have any action items today, but we do have one or two votes to take on minutes, so we'll just vote by roll call as usual, and really nothing else to on that, Treasurer. Back to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If you'll stand and join us for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of North Carolina and pledge to the Old North State love, loyalty, and faith. We're also pleased to have Treasurer-elect Brad Briner here, and welcome, and be here for part, if not all, of the meetings, so thank you for joining us. I want to welcome Mr. Bowers to our meeting. Mr. Bowers has a long history of public service, and his SCI report has been turned in. So, Benny, welcome to our committee.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. With that, we'll take a moment to look at the agenda. Regarding conflicts of interest, does anybody have an actual potential or appearance of conflict of interest regarding matters that are coming for us? Hearing none, should a conflict arise during our proceedings, please be sure to let me as the chair know. I'll now, without objection, anybody makes a motion or second to motion will be considered a yes vote. Hearing no objection, I'll entertain a motion to approve the June 6th, 2023 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Mr. McLaughlin, second. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Thank you. And Mr. Bowers, is probably not a big deal, but since you weren't a participant in that meeting, you probably should abstain from that. Yes.
Comment.
Yes.
This is Cindy Aiken, not to overstep, but you members do not feel you must abstain. That's one of the issues that can come up because it's the committee's minutes and you can be deemed to rely upon those that prepared the minutes to have them correct. But you may abstain if you choose, but it's not required.
Thank you. Motion second being made. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Okay, that was McLaughlin and Ms. Wilson Arnold and Auditor Holmes. Aye. Thank you. Mr. Beam is absent. Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Bowers?
I'm sorry, what was the motion?
Oh, this is approval of the minutes from June of last meeting.
I was abstaining. So I didn't.
No problem. Thank you. And Treasurer Falwell?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries with 5.
Thank you. Before turning over to Carolyn, just as far as Mr. Bowers, he was employee of the State Department of State Treasurer, the Local Government Commission, had extensive involvement with hospital, water, and sewer. We really need you now. And combined enterprise airports and revolving loans, financial analysts with the Department of State Treasurer, College of Business Administration at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, where he taught courses, and then went for Cannon Mills. So we've already welcomed you, but just want to give you a little bit of your resume. We just want to make you feel a little bit younger today. So thank you. I'll now turn the meeting over to Carolyn to give an agency update.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Staff just wanted to memorialize the submission of the annual report of activities for the agency for the fiscal year, June 30th, 2024. The directors were provided with a draft copy on July 13th. Following no comments, the report was publicized and distributed to the statutory recipients on November the 4th, 2024. Treasurer, that's the end of the update.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions about that report? Okay. Now back to Carolyn.
So the item before you, the miscellaneous non-action item, that is just an agenda item to memorialize the changes to a debt issuance previously approved in 2010 related to Peak Resources. The proceeds were used to acquire a skilled facilities in Charlotte and also the headquarter buildings in Gastonia. This current amendment extends the put date on the debt from 2024 to 2027. So between the borrower and the lender, Truist Bank, they extended the put date and also adjusted the applicable rate.
Okay. No vote needed, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. And
Ask a question.
question?
Yes. Just for clarity, in the minutes on Elon was doing a rate on their put debt for 10 years, and it was going to be fixed. On this one, we're doing it is a put date, you're doing a rate for 3 years. And I think it's going to be a variable rate that's going to be reset every time that, slightly every time that the secondary overnight financing rate is set, meaning that it'll slightly change over the 3-year period, or is it going to be fixed on the put date for the next 3 years at one rate? I think it's going to change slightly. I'm just questioning whether it's going to be a fixed rate over that 3-year period or whether it's actually going to continue as a variable rate.
I believe that would be a variable rate. So the SOFR, it's the secured overnight financing rate, is not fixed. So the borrower and the lender would revisit this issue at the end of the new put date. And this transaction has been reviewed and by bond counsel, McGuire Woods, and they expressed comfort with the changes in the terms also.
I'm sure. I'm just trying to figure out if it works like LIBOR, where it used to be reset every 7 days, where this rate is going to be changing as the 30-day Fed overnight rate changes or not. In other words, it's not going to be one rate for the full 3-year period. Is that correct?
I believe so, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you, Carolyn. And explain to Treasurer-elect Briner, we're splitting the functions of your, explain to the Treasurer-elect what your function is.
Currently, I am the Interim Director of State Debt Management, so I oversee the debt issuance process and also pre-issuance, issuance, and post-issuance monitoring.
And is also serving as the interim director of the agency. It's sort of two separate roles, but.
And you're playing tag team with somebody else who's helping you with these things, I guess.
Yes, I'm sorry. Frank Bowen also serves as our transportation analyst or our specialist on the team.
So the transportation credit card is nearly maxed out. The other one is almost paid down to little or nothing. So thank you for that. I'll now turn the meeting over to Cindy just to give a brief synopsis of the SEI evaluations that have been submitted.
Thank you. At the back of the packet for members, you have 5 individuals. Treasurer, Mr. Bryn, the treasurer's designee, Mr. Bowen, Mr. Bowers, and Ms. Wilson-Arnold. The latest Statement of Economic Interest evaluation letters from the Ethics Commission. They show some of them no conflict, and then on some a potential conflict of interest depending on your individual circumstances. And we are just providing these for you we'll enter them into the minutes as attachments to conform to the ethics statutes that apply to our agency. And also that we take this time to remind each member to always be evaluating your own personal, financial, business relationships to make sure that you do not have a conflict or that you don't act in this agency role on anything that might be a conflict of interest. And that's that. And also let me apologize for failing to put on the record the attendance also includes Debbie Tomasco, who's the director of the State and Local Government Finance Division, and Carolyn Hayden, as she just told us her interim directorship roles. Okay.
Any questions about the SEI reports? Before we call for a motion to adjourn, it's been a real pleasure to lead this board over the last 8 years. It's probably the shortest meeting that I'm involved in over the last 8 years, but a very important board as you can see, Treasurer-elect Briner. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Mr. Bowers, second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Okay, Auditor Holmes. Thank you. Ms. Wilson-Arnold. Did you nod your head? I wasn't looking. Yes, okay. I'm going to take that as an aye. Put your thumbs up. Mr. Beebe's absent. Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Thank you. And Treasurer Falwell?
Aye. Thank you all so much for joining us, and Joe for driving up today. And with that, we're all adjourned.